my baby.
Fucking hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire. Baby, my heart's on fire. If you refuse me, baby, you lose me, and you'll be left alone. That's all I got.
Oh, man. That's so much more than I would have expected. Oh, man. Welcome to the 2 Decades Too Late podcast, everyone. I am Brad, hanging out with... What was that frog's name?
I don't know.
He
The
had a
WB
name, right?
frog? He did, yeah.
Frog from the WB. Michigan J. Frog. That's not what I did not know that.
Yeah.
Ever. There's
Right.
no section of my brain that heard that and went, oh, right.
Yep. Tracks.
Well, yep, that joke's gone. I'm Brad, hanging out with Josh.
Hello.
This is a podcast in which we rate and review an album that is turning 20 years old, mostly metal for whatever it's worth. Josh and I each give a rating of 1 to 5 to 4 different parameters for an individual maximum point total of 20 and a combined maximum point total of 40. What are we doing today, Josh?
This week we have The Gazebo. Nah.
Yeah. Other people's material.
Yeah. That's what it's all about here.
Uh-huh.
We don't do anything. This
Yeah.
week we have All That Remains, This Darkened Heart.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. This is a good album. I like this album a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yep.
I did.
Great.
Yeah. Well, we'll probably get into that a little
Probably
bit.
a little bit.
But yeah, tell us a little bit about All That Remains.
All That Remains. What up, my Springfield people? Springfield, Massachusetts, though.
What a
yeah.
shame.
But that
Not that-
plants them solidly in the East Coast hardcore, metal and hardcore scene.
Yep.
Metalcore scene,
Metalcore scene.
Metalcore
I call
scene,
it
yeah.
metalcore scene.
for sure. Active for 6 years at this point, formed in 1998. That was older than I expected, but that's like
Same.
when Phil Labonte left, was asked to leave Shadows Fall.
Hell yeah, what a good decision.
He was in it from 96 to 98, I think.
They made the right move.
Yeah, I'd
That
say
was
so.
that was the right move.
They did have a prior release, Behind Silence and Solitude, in 2002.
Yep. Did you listen to it?
I have in the past. I did not listen to it for this. I don't remember it being excellent, which surprises me a little bit because it was also produced by Adam D.
Yeah, it's not very good. I would actually... I mean, the production's fine, but it's not. Don't listen to it.
That's fair.
If you haven't, you don't need to. You're good.
But also, let's see. Oli was he was on that album, yeah.
On the first one?
Yeah.
I didn't look, but almost certainly, because he's basically an original member.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ollie's on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got This Darkened Heart, which came out on March 23rd of 2004.
Yeah.
And on that album, we do have Phil Labonte on vocals. I'm not calling him Philip because I don't like him.
That's fair.
So, Oli Herbert on lead guitar and acoustic guitar. Rest in peace, Oli Herbert.
For sure.
That's very sad. You know you're an incredible guitar player when you have to be replaced by Jason Richardson, one of the best guitar players who probably lives on the planet Earth. So,
Yeah,
big
Oli
shoes to fill.
Oli was the
He's
man.
a beast. Yeah. Mike Martin on rhythm guitar. Matt Dice
Dice?
on bass and piano, and Michael Barlett on drums. I believe the only album he was the drummer on, maybe, unless he was on the first. Oh, he was on the first one.
He was. It's the last album to feature Michael Bartlett, the only album to feature Matt Dice on bass. Except he rejoined in 2002, so he's, I guess, currently releasing music. And the first to feature rhythm guitar player Mike Martin.
How about that?
I know.
Yeah.
Suck on them bones. Gross.
Them bones.
That's such a great song.
It really is.
You know what? Let's just not do this. Let's just go play Guitar Hero.
Just do that.
This song's on it. That song's on it.
That's true. Wait, they have a song.
No.
It's from their later albums. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and that's kind of I think something worth touching on here is if you didn't listen to this one, that makes sense.
Ish.
It does. I mean, no one really knew who they were that much until the next album. Then they kind of low key blew up, and the next album's so much better.
Yeah.
It's
got 6 on it.
It does. It's got 6, and I don't know, mostly every other song you've probably heard by them, like This Calling.
Oh yeah.
The Air That I Breathe was a giant song, and it's great.
Funnily enough, I do remember The Fall of Ideals more so than this album, probably. I remember it coming out more anyway, because like we had listened to All That Remains for so long by that point. Like this, new album.
Yeah. And I kept on with this one. I never really fell in love with The Fall of Ideals until years and years later. Like I remember it too, coming out, like listening to it. We went and got it with Jordan Guyton. Like I remember it very vividly, getting that album. Yeah. But it just, I didn't want anything to do with it. I don't know why. It was more everything that I wanted from them too. Like, so it wasn't even that like me being a douche. I just don't think I cared. I was just like, yeah, it does sound really good. And that was it. But then later in life, it's an incredible album. And then Overcome is what blew them the fuck up.
Yeah.
I mean, that album was not as good. Huge. I don't know. I like stuff off of it. We talked about it a little bit, I guess, but I don't like This Darkened Heart as much as I once did. And I did for a very, very long time. I mean, I have the physical album. It's in my little disc sleeve. So I've been listening to it the whole time. Yeah. But I realize I only listened to like half of it the whole time. And then
that's super fair. And I'm curious if it's like the first half, the last half, or just like half of a smattering of the songs.
It's just like I really like 4 songs on this, and I could do without the rest.
That's
like it sounds, for a band that's been around as long as they had at this point, which is way longer than, I'm glad you called that out because I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
It still sounds like a band figuring out who the hell they even are. So it seems kind of strange. Sure. And then when you get to the next album, they do. Like, they know what they are. I mean, it's just strange that between a band that should probably already have their chops because they've been around a while, not actually having them yet until the next one. Yeah. I don't know. Just odd.
Well, I mean, you got a new rhythm section, basically, with Mike Martin joining and Matt Dice being in the band. Which I know isn't a huge thing.
No, mostly because I think Oli wrote 97% of their music. Yeah.
Yep.
And very well done, by the way. His guitar work is so far ahead of his peers. Like, if I could just listen... Honestly, if I could listen to this album as an instrumental, I think I would actually like it more. Like, the compositions are pretty solid. The guitar work's really, really good. Yeah. I will say I didn't give the drummer enough attention until this listen through. That dude is very sneaky good.
Yeah.
He's got some parts where he's doing stuff, and it's not mixed you can miss it.
Yeah.
And so I have for 20 years until now. And he's just doing shit at times. Like, it's crazy. Fun. Yeah. Because otherwise he just kind of holds it down. He's a very rhythm centric drummer, and I think I needed to hear a dude like this back in 2004 to go like, oh, you don't have to be Through the Eyes of the Dead all the time. So it's kind of good to hear like a real, like a grounded, I don't know, drummer where he could have been flexing a lot harder. Clearly he has the talent, but he chose not to in a lot of spots, and I respect that.
Yeah.
I do. It's kind of cool.
Like, we all get it. Ollie's the star. I'm going to be back here, and I'm going to...
Yeah,
just
do
hold
my
it
down,
thing.
and when I'm going to shine, I'm going to shine, and
that's right.
Otherwise, we got this.
We got this.
So, before like a track by track, because I think that'd be kind of a good one for this album, particularly like more so than some. What would just your overall, like, have you been listening to it between then and now, or was it kind of like you dug it at the time? Because I know you did. We all did.
Yeah, for sure.
Brandon, remember the Deepest Gray and how much he fucking loved that song?
Dude, I think Brandon wanted to grow up to be Phil Labonte.
I mean, that's not...
I mean, he kind of did in a lot of ways, yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, burn.
Oh, it's so true. Oh, punker.
Nice.
I mean, that sucks. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that joke was going to be in there, and that's a shame. That's shame on me. I should have known that was part of it, because he did. Yeah.
I didn't even he really wanted cut off sleeves, hat pulled low.
Yep.
He was going for
probably an American flag tattoo somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yep. Maybe not as brazen as Phil to have it be his entire arm, but
yeah, right.
Also, I'm not going to get super into it. I've been trying to be less obnoxious with my opinions and remove them when they're over the top, as they almost always are. But I do not like Phil Labonte. He ended up being put some bleach in your veins for COVID types of people.
We'll leave it at we have wildly differing political views and kind of move on from there.
Just not a great dude. So, you know, I'm just saying, if for some reason you're like, yeah, I'll check it out, let me look into this band a little bit. What did Phil Labonte have to say in 2016?
Right. I mean, he
maybe
could be to a lot of people, but just, yeah.
I'm just, it's all good. He didn't try to get anyone killed that I know of, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right.
A weird parallel that we'll come back to.
Who knew?
So I could not find anything on his change in vocal style, and I distinctly remember factually there being a vocal surgery or something that kind of made him because after the Fall of Ideals, he does not sound like this anymore.
No, and it wasn't a vocal surgery. It's because he went and took training courses with what's her name.
Okay.
Just one same time like Keith Buckley did and all of those dudes. Because he was featured heavily in the DVD.
Oh, okay.
An obnoxious amount almost, where he kept going see, I could do this all day. See, just all day I could just, and he's just doing that for all right. It's just, we got it.
But
good job, buddy.
He doesn't. I think maybe his vocal tract is better for it, but I don't think his sound and the band overall was any better for it.
Oh, see, I like his vocals a lot more after this. Yeah.
Huh.
I think their band is even on just the very next album, so exponentially better. I think Phil sounds way better after this. In this.
Well, in the Fall of Ideals, when did that happen? Did that happen post Fall of Ideals or pre?
I think pre Fall of it. Well, when did that album come out? 06 probably.
06, yeah.
That would.
Because he goes distinctly from doing metalcore vocals to just talking with a filter on his voice for that. Those are his harsh vocals now. And that's kind of.
I feel like you heard. Well, he does a lot more pitch screaming, but I'm a sucker for pitch. I like pitch screaming a lot. So,
Right.
like when the Within the Ruins guys started doing that on their second, third album, whatever one they just released a sequel to, like
Phenomena.
Gods Among Men.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That one's
when
great.
he started doing that, I was super pumped because he started doing that on like every chorus on that album, and I was like, hell yeah, there can't be too much pitch screaming. I love it.
In my opinion, there can, and it's like the subsequent all the remains
fair
albums.
enough. So it would have been before, because I've done the math on when I remember knowing everyone else that was doing the whole vocal thing. And yeah, it would have been before Fall of Ideals. It probably would have been 2005. And so it was like
Interesting.
right before that came out. Yeah.
That's super interesting.
Yeah. Also, I'm glad you have that take because I didn't really have. I hadn't really compared them. And they're
There is
almost like two different.
Yeah, exactly.
They're almost two different bands after Fall of Ideals. But I liked the switch because like
I never got on board.
I don't think they do metalcore particularly well. So I was happy with the switch to more of like leaning on their catchy stuff and, you know, having Ollie shine
Yeah.
with solos and stuff a little more. Like, yeah, I don't know.
You kind
I
of summarized both of the reviews that I read, so that's good.
Yeah, how so?
I mean, one guy's just super pumped. He starts off the review with, hell yeah! Like, and he's like, solos, man. You know what's wrong with this album? There weren't enough solos. I love the solos. Everything else, kind of okay, but give me more solos. After hell yeah, he follows it up with, there isn't anything notably bad about this album. Which I think is a strange take. So he gave it a 4.5 out of 5. The user review was a 4 out of 5, and that was the Punk News review. And then kind of the All Music review was more like, yeah, the solos are good. I mean, a lot of them end up sounding kind of the same. So their summary was, as a whole, this album's better than average for the genre, especially by 2004's diluted standards. But
Yikes.
It's not going to unseat Slaughter of the Soul, Storm of the Lightsbane, or any of the other classics that inspired this crowded genre in the first place. They
That
gave
is
it a 3
very
out of 5.
Yeah, that's yep.
Yep.
And we've been 2 decades too late.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, seriously though, like the guitar work is unique amongst its peers because you have a dude that is just better than pretty much everyone around him.
Mm-hmm.
In Oli Herbert, he was incredible. Definitely Murdered, right?
No.
Have you looked into that at all?
No.
It's fishy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's not hard to be convinced that was not on the up and up.
Damn it.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was just like a Forrest Bondurant, like, died of misadventure falling through the ice.
Yeah, no.
Damn it.
I don't.
Oh, yeah, he drowned, didn't he?
He drowned in a pond.
Oh,
Like
no.
a not very big pond not far from their property.
Oh, no.
Or on their property, maybe. Like I think it was
on.
ruled a suicide.
Oh, no.
I don't know how many people choose that for suicide, but
Emily Dickinson.
true enough. And really,
It's a
if
good way.
I've said anything in my life that tracks from beginning to end is that Emily Dickinson and Oli Herbert, pretty much the same person.
Pretty much. Little known fact, she was a wonderful guitar player. Oli Herbert, fantastic poet.
Indeed. If I've had a nickel for every time that I've had to tell someone that,
Right?
it's insane. So anyway, there's that little side story for if you want to look.
Just go for a nice, long, swim.
Yep. This Darkened Heart, sitting at 41 minutes and 35 seconds, is another problem I have with it.
Oh, really?
I don't think they play well above the 4-minute mark. I don't think they need to be doing that nearly as much as they do, because every song that sits above that number,
which is most,
it's like,
actually.
Yeah, and it's every time it's because they do some really long fade out or some really long intro, and it's like, you're not really making songs that are this long. You're making songs that are like 2.5 minutes long, and then you're elongating them in both directions, or at least one or the other. I find that to be a little cheap, but
that's fair.
I had listened to this enough though where I felt comfortable going, now I can skip track, because it's got 2 minutes of this part still.
Man, now I just really want to listen to He Is Legend now that we talk.
Yeah. I know.
Which is funny, because when we were doing the jam session, I really wanted to listen to this album, like completely unprovoked.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, when are we getting to this? I need some All That Remains in my life.
Yeah, no, and I love this thing so much that it kind of hit me like a sack of bricks a little bit, that I felt so underwhelmed by it when I was done, because I'm like, this isn't
down the nostalgia filter.
It did. Actually, I would say the nostalgia filter was wiped clean.
Oh, no.
From this. It's not really getting that from me.
Just normal colored glasses.
Yeah, there's just, these are just glasses. That's it. Which isn't going to help it. Just full disclosure.
Sweet. I can't wait to see where we end up.
Yeah. So, I don't know about you, but tracks 1 and Death in My Arms. Oh, also, by the way, don't read the lyrics to this album. They are fucking terrible.
They seemed terrible.
He really thinks he's like writing poetry.
Yeah. He should have had Oli do it.
He should have. Like, in the first track, which I think is one of the best tracks on the album, if not the best track on the album, it's up for discussion, I would say.
Yeah.
And Death in My Arms. But there's this line where he goes, feel her tremble as the nightmare begins. Okay, that's whatever.
Sleep the horror as the nightmare it ends.
Then sleep the horror as the nightmare it ends.
Yeah.
The hell does that mean? Sleep the horror?
It means
as the
sleep the horror, Brad.
Sure. Those 3 words go perfectly together. Sleep the horror.
I'm sure he just forgot a comma.
There's a lot of this.
Sleep, comma, the horror, comma, as the nightmare it ends.
Does that work for you?
That works for me.
Okay.
I can solidly justify that in my head.
Well, good. Because I can't. I think it just sounds like someone who's like, no, man, I'm broody. No, you're not. It's okay. That's fine.
We've always hated the every word that falls from my lips falls on deaf ears, because he used falls twice in a row.
I hate it so much.
I know.
Like, and he
always have for 20 years.
Yeah. It didn't get better over my 20 years either.
Which song is that? Is that Passion for Salvation? No.
Yeah, probably.
It's Passion.
My first 2 lines of notes for The Deepest Gray is the deepest gray.
Yeah.
Bunch of Y's. I am not afraid. Bunch of A's.
Yeah, with a Y. He never hits the D. Nope. Not that fella.
Nope, not at all. Him and his gray camo pants glory in that music video. I will never forget being like, hell yeah, dude's wearing fucking gray camo pants.
And then I think Brandon went out and bought a pair of gray camo pants.
He did.
That he may have cut off into shorts at some point in his life.
Oh yeah, he did. I helped him.
Nice.
We cut those into shorts.
Silly.
That is absolutely true. I think The Deepest Grays is another really good song at track 2.
for sure is. Some gnarly ass cowbell at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Pretty
at the
sick.
end, but
And then I Could Live Without Vicious Betrayal and I Die in Digress.
Degrees?
Degrees?
Yeah.
Degrees. Yeah, I said digress. That's not right. It's degrees.
It's close.
For sure. Well done. But yeah, that's a song though, I Die in Degrees, which the lyrics are so bad. He thinks that is a clever thing to die at a degree at a time. That's literally what he's talking about.
I mean, yeah. Aren't we all?
Sure.
Once you get to 360, that's it for you, buddy. You can pull two 180s
man.
in your life.
Dude, it's anyway, the drummer does some really cool shit in that song. I don't know. I can tell you that even if you don't know Adam D produced this, like you might just on the number of high vocals in the background saying yeah over a line of vocals, because Adam D loves that shit.
I heard it and I looked it up to confirm. I was like, man, did Adam D produce this shit? And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, absolutely, he did. He's got it down in 2004.
And you know what I'm gonna say too? Well, we can get to the production. We'll talk about that, because I actually good on Adam D. He could make everyone from this like 2-3 year period where he was producing 80% of good metalcore.
Right.
Not 80% of metalcore. That would be impossible because there was an album coming out every like 37 seconds. But like, yeah, it was ridiculous. But every album he did, they could have all sounded the same. Like, I can tell a little bit that it's an Adam D production, but I will give him the credit of making everyone kind of have their own sound. Like,
For sure.
Good for Adam D.
Yeah, for sure. I started to think that too, and I was like, man, he definitely, like, he had his filter pack and he threw that shit on. But you're right, he did. Like, the band is the band. He just kind of had the wherewithal to make the instruments sound good for that type of music.
Yeah, and man, thank you, sir. Please, sir, may I have some more?
You can.
Yeah, well, and we do for a long time.
A long time.
Anyway, continue.
What
were you about to say?
Not glancing over Focus Shall Not Fail. What'd you think of this? What have you thought of the singing? Because I always liked it.
Yeah, it's good. He's a good singer. You can still tell there are songs on this one that are better than others. Oh, what's the one where it ends in the...
Part of the reviews were like, it felt a little forced to do the singing, which I don't think.
No, I don't think so. He doesn't do it a lot. Like it's only like 3 or 4 spots on the album where, and not Darkest Gray, Deepest Gray, Deepest Gray. Of course, it's deepest. But it's because
and Oli Herbert drowned.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! I don't like that. But that's not even him singing in that song. That's the bass player. So it's like,
oh really?
Yeah, that's not even him.
Well, I'll be dipped.
Yeah, the bass player in the gray camo shorts, and Brandon played bass, and
well, how about
there you go. So yeah, there's not a lot of singing on this album, and there's even less of it done by Phil. But when he does it, it's good. What is the song that like ends with
falling away? Is it Focus Shall Not Fail, or is it Tattered on My Sleeve?
Tattered on my sleeve. Tattered on my sleeve. Yep. So that part's super, damn right. But yeah, it's a really sick part, but they don't need to do it for 2 minutes at the end, because they do.
I know. I love it.
A lot of that in this thing.
I always turn it up as it starts to fade out. I was like, keep going. Please, keep going.
Yeah. I don't know. Focus Shall Not Fail at track 5 is very good. It's very long, 6 minutes and 18 seconds. But again, does it need to be that long? No. they could have easily probably even got it to 5 and kept the intro like it is, because the intro is very good. When the drums hit the upbeat, oh man, that's some shit. Very good. And then there you go. I could not have any of the other songs on the album. That's not probably true.
A 4-minute instrumental. I think it's well placed, and I think it is a good instrumental.
The only reason I don't like the instrumental is because track 4, if that's the one I'm thinking of, it basically is an instrumental. He does vocals in that song for like 3 lines, and then he doesn't do them again for the rest of the song.
Interesting.
Yeah, I Die in Degrees should just be an instrumental, and his lyrics are actually bad enough, and his delivery is actually kind of sloppy enough on this particular track that the 3 or 4 lines of lyrics that he does do actually hurt the song. Like, this song would be better as an instrumental, and it is 95% an instrumental. It's like, and then we get an instrumental that's longer than the one that we were essentially just got in 2 more tracks.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad instrumental at track 6, Regret Not, but it's completely unnecessary because you basically just had an instrumental 2 songs before it.
I do think like it does make the rest of the album hard to get back into.
Yeah, it's a weird stopping point. Like, it's not, if you're thinking about it strictly from a track listing perspective, like just like an intermission at a long movie or
Right.
theater production or something, it would be roughly there. That's cutting it in half. So I understand why the placement is what it is if that's all you're thinking about. If you're not thinking about the context of the rest of your album, I actually don't think it makes sense there at all. I actually think they would have been better served between 9 and 10 because 10 is so heavy that I think if they took a melodic little break between those 2, given that track 4 it basically is an instrumental, I think it would have been pretty effective. But I just kept finding problems with this, if I'm being really honest, and that's not what I went into it thinking. I was super pumped about this, and it's still fine, but
yeah,
it's not as good as I remember.
Doesn't hold up to the microscope.
No, man, his lyrics on track 8, dude, For Salvation.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. And I promised myself I would stop reading them, but I looked over and I had the mic thing up, and I just saw. But there's one where he says, "I will not be swept aside, nor will I change inside, but I'll fear not compromise."
I still know the delivery in my head.
I know. It's such a bad lyric. It's
Death spares not the tiger.
ugh.
Whenever you
I don't know.
Whenever you put "not" in the wrong place, it just
It's brutal.
sounds douchey.
It does. It sounds douchey, and it sounds, I mean, you're trying hard doing that. Like, you didn't do that just because it allowed compromise to rhyme. Like, you could have figured out a better way to say it. Like, it wouldn't even have been that hard.
And again,
And
he's got the double rhyming same word thing. Inside.
Uh-huh.
Or side, inside.
Side and inside, yeah. It's
And right.
Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any other, like, big call-outs you have for the album? I mean,
I really
it's a lot
don't.
of talent. It's just sick.
Yeah.
You know what? That's good enough for me. Review?
Review.
Fantastic. So Josh,
Well, I'll tell you what I thought of the album artwork.
What did you think of the album artwork?
Man, I was really torn on this one, actually. It could be anywhere from a 1 to a 5, depending on what day you asked me. Today happens to be the day that you asked, so I gave it a 3. I shit the bed and stayed right in the middle.
Awesome.
So we already did As I Lay Dying, Frail Words Collapse. It's got a skull on it with some skullduggery around it. Super cool. Really
A
well
better
done.
version, I would say.
A better version, I would say. Now that I say that out loud, do I still have it up? I do. When did that come out? July. It came out second, so I don't know.
What, did Frail Words Collapse?
Frail Words Collapse came out second, but I have to do this real quick since we're talking about the... Okay, cool. Whew.
Well, it came out in July of 2003, though.
Oh, shit, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was before this.
Yep.
Then, yeah, this sucks even more. Poser-ass bitches. Like, I like it. Like, I dig that it's got the moth or the wasp or the bug with the wings kind of obscuring everything. But that, like, blurry text reminds me of the "you wouldn't steal a car" for, like, the anti-piracy.
Yeah.
It's
100% that.
2004
100%.
text. And I don't love, like... I don't love the graphic above All That Remains. I wish it was just the band name and not the Crown of Thorns or whatever they're doing with that massacre. The coloring's cool.
You landed on a 3?
Yeah, I guess. Actually, you know what? Fuck them. I'm going to knock it down to a 2.
I was going to say, this does not sound like 3 territory.
You're
but
right. You're
by
right.
all means.
The more I say words, the more I hate it. It was unfortunately it was done by Mike D'Antonio, the bassist of Killswitch.
Yep,
Killswitch. And
he's done as many.
He's done, yeah.
He's done as many good ones as he's done bad ones. Like, I love the End of Heartache's album cover. He did
That's
that.
fair. Yep.
Yeah. I don't have a whole lot to add except I hate this thing.
So I gave it a 2.
I am not Natalie Imbruglia about this.
What?
You said you were torn.
Oh, okay. Sam.
Yeah.
That's a reference. We were actually just talking the other night about, not you and I, me and Ashley. We're talking about whatever happened to Michelle Branch. Not the same person, but pretty much the same person.
No, I would say Michelle Branch was way different from Natalie Imbruglia, but I think she was exactly the same as Vanessa Carlton.
Yes, she was.
So those two...
Everyone who plays piano is the same.
Does Natalie Imbruglia play piano?
She doesn't. That's why
also,
your argument stands.
Torn, I think, is a cover.
What?
You know that? Yeah. You know what? I'm just going to throw that out into the internet because if you want to prove me wrong, it's easy to do, and I'm not going to confirm or deny it right now.
That's great. So, headcanon.
Anyway.
Torn's a cover.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. Or, that's common knowledge. Everybody fucking knows that.
Yeah. Don't come out with me of that shit.
Yeah.
They're stupid. I don't know. This is when we transition to a 90s alternative podcast.
Dude, I don't need to do any research for that either.
No, you would do really well, and I would have to be like, probably. You're probably right.
Torn is a cover.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like the album artwork at all. I think, like... I think, like, what's going on in the art of it looks kind of cheap. And then it's like the band logo looks like it was added after everything else was done and looks cleaner than everything else on it, which I think is so distracting. I mean, it doesn't even look like they were made by the same person or people or...
Somebody just got Photoshop and was figuring out layers.
100%. Sticks out way too much. And I'm with you. I have no idea what the thing on top is. It's stupid, whatever it is.
Pew, pew, pew.
I don't think the skull is particularly... I don't think it's done particularly well. Yeah, I called out the same, like, bad drunk driver accident commercial about the album title. It's awful. Yeah, I don't like anything about this. I like the colors would be okay, but they seem like they were, like, muted from being scanned too many times while you're adding layers to a thing. And it, like, I don't know, lost more and more of its actual color palette or vibrancy the more they did it. And I have no idea if that's how that even works, but that's what it looks like. So, 1 for me.
1 for Brad. What'd you think of the production then?
Production's good. It's a little dated. Like, it won't get a 5, but like for the time, it sounds incredible.
Yeah.
Again, it's Adam D doing it right. Bass is there. It's not overly trebly. Yeah, I almost can't even knock it as much as. Well, I guess we'll get to that because that is one of our parameters. But so I'll give it a 4. I don't have a lot of bad things to say about it. It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
What about you?
I landed at. I originally I was torn between a 4 and a 5. Yeah. And I initially put a 5 because like it does hold up still really well.
Yeah, it does.
I just knocked it down to a 4 because I do remember thinking like there were bits with like blast beats and stuff where the snare and the cymbals kind of mushed together in a weird way and it sounds a little washed out. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna give it a 4. And I do want to throw in this interesting tidbit. The mastering was done by Louis Theron.
Okay.
Which I thought he's done a lot of stuff. Kind of goes back and forth between movies and music, it seems like. But notably, he also did mastering for Garfield the movie and for Mean Girls. So,
wow, that is wild. Yeah, all right, so we both landed on a 4 for production. Yeah. What was the impact at the time for you?
I mean, it had to be a 5, right?
Yeah.
There's kind of no way around it.
No.
Not so much the band image, because like I did not go out and buy gray camo pants, but we definitely tried to write music like All That Remains.
Yeah, there's no way around it. I mean, it was huge. So 5 for me too. No way around it. That's just, it is what it is.
I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that I gave it a 5 for enjoyed listening to today. And then I want to hear all about where you landed.
I mean, it's not like unlistened. Like if I had to choose between, well, see, now I was going to say that. Now I don't know if I even believe it. So never mind. Scratch that line of thinking. But I mean, I gave it a 3.
Okay.
Like it just sounds like a band that should know what they're doing and doesn't at the same time. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you should be doing this a little better. Like you've got most of the stuff. Of course, then you add Shannon Lucas on the next album.
Yes.
It's 10 times better. The vocalist is 10 times better. I will never read another line of lyrics he ever wrote ever again after this review.
A solid call.
Yeah, even if we make it to 06, like we're doing this in 2026 and review that one, I'm going to try my best to avoid that and not pay attention. So yeah, I mean, it's still a 3. It's not hateful or anything. It's just, I don't know. It sounds like if you did like a really strong EP, like we always had this problem, like in every band we were ever in, we just wanted all the songs to be recorded. But like if I could go back in time to young us at all, I'd be like, stop doing that. Spend a shitload of time on 3 or 4 songs, 3 to 5 tops. Hammer them out to death until you never want to hear them again, and then go record those. You'll be so much better for it. And this song has really high peaks, it just has really low valleys.
Gotcha.
And it's, it sounds like a lot of filler, too. Like a lot of, I don't know.
Yeah. That's a really good assessment.
Yeah, so a 3, because it was fine. It just...
All right.
Yeah, could have been a lot better, and it was in the next album. They were significantly better. So
Yeah. Also produced by Adam D. and a hair shorter. There's not a 6-minute track on the next album.
Good.
Yeah.
Also, man, if you want to compare one dude's production, like, and to show how much better it got over time, put those two All That Remained albums next to each other. The production on the next one is incredible. Like, holds up today, no problem. Anyway, it's all right. Well, for All That Remains, fuck's this thing called? I just totally lost the name.
This Darkened Heart.
There you go.
That riff that you've been playing for 20 years.
Uh-huh. Yep. Remembered and forgot just as quickly. So, for This Darkened Heart by All That Remains, Josh has a score of 16. I have a score of 13. That actually seems about right, given our reactions to it.
Yeah.
For a total of 29. Not bad. Didn't break 30, but I think that's also a fair representation
I
of
think
kind
so
of
too. Yeah.
where this is. Yeah, this is not me ranting forever about, like I do on every single thing. Now listen, I know I gave it a 1, but it's really like a 17 if you think about it.
Right.
None of that. This seems about right.
Yeah. It's of note that AllMusic ranked the follow-up album a 2.5 out of 5. So
Instead of a 3.5?
Instead of a 3 out of 5. Like, they just got incrementally more tired of All That Remains.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when he decided to start just opening his mouth anytime someone gave him an opportunity. There was like a 6-year span of time there where that dude was in
lyrics.
Yeah, right. But he was in like metal news like every 2 to 3 days about something really, really offensive there for like a while.
Well,
and it was like, woof.
I think he is or was for a time a regular contributor on a kind of political news platform.
Cool. Well, that would explain why he was constantly being talked about. Because I even remember thinking, like, who gives a shit what this dude thinks? And then I remember thinking, in our community, it is kind of weird to have some of these opinions. Because most of the time, we just kind of accept everybody over here in the metal world.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing we do. It's really nice.
Yeah. It is really nice. Most of the time, great community. Sometimes it's this guy. And, not so much. Not a great representation. What we do now is pick our favorite songs on the album, which will then be added to our TDTL favorites playlist on Spotify. So, Josh, what is your favorite song on This Darkened Heart?
Based on the way the conversation has gone, I am a little embarrassed to say, but it is in fact I Die in Degrees.
Sick.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally
it's a
get
great
it.
song. And I did not look at the lyrics, even though you don't really
Good
need to.
call.
You can hear them.
Also, I mean, he literally does vocals for the first like 20 seconds of that song, and then not again which honestly,
maybe that's that's the key.
Plays both ways. All right, sick. I Die in Degrees. Part of me wants to do The Deepest Gray just because it's really hard to be upset when that chorus is on. It's just so
That's true.
fucking tap your toe and
You are not
have
afraid.
yourself a time. No. I'm going to go with This Darkened Heart.
That's the call.
What the hell? I guess if I'm going to have the riff accidentally stuck in my head for 20 years,
Yeah, and
it's probably not bad.
It can caress your foul.
Yep.
Or it could caress your
That's a sick low, though.
It is.
All right. Well, Josh, I certainly don't have anything else to say about this fairly underwhelming endeavor that we took on here with this particular album.
So with that, he's been Brad, I've been Josh, and we've been 2 decades too late.